This is Groove from the Groove Broadcasting Network, taking you back down memory lane of some of the shows that we've done in the past, featuring some of the local talent here in Rhode Island. On this particular show, this is featuring Lisa Santos Davis. Johnny, have you ever had a chance to perform or actually meet Lisa?
Man, I met her a couple of times, but I never really got a chance to really work with her. She had called me for a couple of gigs, but
Schedules that just didn't meet up, right?
But I've only heard great things about her, man. Great talent.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. The deal is, I had the pleasure of actually mixing her every night as a sound engineer back when I was in the band Just Does.
Yeah.
And the deal is, and for the people that don't know, you're going to get a chance to sit back and watch this particular show where you'll get a chance to meet Lisa and see some of the footage from the show that was performed a couple of years ago, a tribute to Shaka Khan called Master Jam, with Lisa as the lead vocalist, along with a lot of local talent here from Rhode Island. So sit back and relax and enjoy On the Groove. Good day and welcome to The Groove. I'm your host known as The Groove. On today's episode we have one of Rhode Island's favorite female R&B and soul singers from the 80s right through today. We're going to keep it nice and sweet. We have Lisa Sugar Santos Davis, my sister. It's been a while. It's been a pleasure.
No kidding.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Thank you for welcoming us into your nice, humble abode. It's a wonderful day out here.
Really?
June, nice, wonderful weather, and it's been a while since you and I have caught up.
I
Deals
know.
like that. And we need to tell your story because you, on this circuit out here in Rhode Island, dealers like that, you were like one of the favorite R&B singers out here with self-contained bands and some of the other different units out here where a lot of the women and the younger ladies looked up to you, the dealers like that, because they liked your style, they loved your voice, they definitely loved the way that you carried yourself out here. So how you been, my sister?
I've been great. And before we even get any further into it, I want to say to you, congratulations on your new show. You're doing a wonderful job.
Oh,
and I love it. I love
I-
seeing The Groove up there on TV.
And I'm honored to have you here with us. The deal is, the thing is, I'm going to go back a little bit. And it's kind of ironic how you and I go back over 3 decades.
Yeah.
The deal is, it's kind of ironic because the deal is you are related to Rhode Island royalty in the music scene, the Tavares, recently inducted into the Rhode Island Music Hall of Fame. And the connection, the deal is kind of ironic. The deal is that my uncle, Billy Osborne, wrote Tavares' first big hit, Check It Out, back in like 1973.
No kidding.
And I remember when you and I first met, before you joined Just Does, and we were talking the deals because you were also the sister-in-law of Rhode Island's most famous and favorite basketball player, Marvin Barnes.
Yep.
You know, from Central High School to Providence College to ABA superstar before he went into the NBA. And you were telling me about the fact the deal is that you went to St. Louis and spent some summers in St. Louis.
Yep.
And the deal is, and I ironically was living in St. Louis, and the deal is that we never crossed paths.
No
And the deal is,
kidding.
and then back in about 79, I came back to Rhode Island, my hometown, and the deal is, you and I met because cousin Billy Osborne took me over to go pick you up because we were doing the Just Us stuff, and we had an existing female singer, but you know, the guys were talking about, you know, there's this beautiful young lady over at Hope High School, man. She sings like a songbird in the deals, and we think she would be a great addition to Just Us. And the deals, and we went over, and you and I met, and we discussed that thing, and it was just kind of funny that this thing kind of went whole circle. The deal is, you were in St. Louis, I was living in St. Louis. We never crossed paths, and then the deal is, and we're sitting there talking, and the deal is, and then you came into the 4th generation Osborne band, Just Us.
Yep.
And the deal is, and then from there, once you got there, the deal is, I remember the guy saying, if this woman sings as well as she looks,
Oh my goodness.
it's a wrap. It's game over. And we did the rehearsals, and the deal is, it was on and going on from there. Deal is, you were probably only about 16 years old.
I just turned 16.
Yeah, and we had to go over and talk to your parents,
Yep.
my man, Frankie Santos, and
Yep.
your mom, the lovely Virginia Santos, and we had to convince them, the deal is, to take their baby girl and allow you to come into this band with all these guys, the Osborne guys, and Just Us, and allow you to perform in the nightclubs. Because back then, the deal is, the clubs, you could be 18 and be able to perform out in the clubs, but they trusted us, and they allowed you to come out there, and you came in, and you did your thing, because you was over at Hope High School over there playing with, like, Murgy Ford,
Yeah.
John Pagano,
Vinny.
and Vinny Pagano, and those kind of guys.
Tim
And
Fowler.
yeah, and Timmy Fowler, and then the deal is, and once you came in, you kind of cemented your thing, and the deal is, the Just Us thing, we just kind of took off, and we were doing a whole lot of good stuff. I mean, with the horns,
No
deals,
kidding.
we were kind of a little bit ahead of our time.
Oh, we
The deals,
definitely were.
we were doing the rap, the hip hop stuff when it first came out with the live band and this, that, and the other. And the deal is, I mean, we had an existing female. The deal is, but once you did a couple of things, I think the guys, we kind of secretly met and said, this is a rap. This is it. Lisa, this is it. We got one female lead singer, and the deal is, and from there, we just went on and had a ball. And the deal is, I mean, we were doing the block parties, the clubs, we were doing those gigs where the deal is, we were doing, when that was back when the gigs, they were more than just the one-nighters. We were doing, like 3 or 4 nights in a row, and so on and so forth.
6 nights
And
at Hoffman's Steakhouse in
yeah,
Newport.
and the deals, I mean, we did a lot of different stuff. I mean, going back, like going to Springfield, going to Hartford. We did the trips to like North Carolina, and all of those type of things, and back and forth. And the deal is, and you were like the shining star of the female vocalist on the R&B Top 40 soul circuit around here. The deal is, and the thing is like that, and the deal, and that had to be an experience for you, being that young and then coming into a group of guys. The deal is,
Yeah.
how did that make you feel?
We got to stop for gas. How long do I got to wait to go to the bathroom? And changing in cars and all that. It was crazy, but it was so much fun. It really was so much fun. I remember the time we were going to, we went to North Carolina, right?
Yeah, right.
Throwing food out of cars at each other, racing each other down the highway.
That was
We were
absolutely
out of control.
definitely out of control.
Fun.
Yeah, Ricky Liggins was driving one van. We were in another car with the trailer hitched up and this and the other. And we had the food fight on 95
and
going
the
back
trailer
and
let
forth.
loose on the what was
That's
it, New
right.
Jersey?
Yep, that's right. I remember that happened. The deals. I mean, we had so many experiences. It was almost like college fraternity type of days.
It
And
was.
the deal like that. But you was the only female amongst a bunch of guys. And the thing about that, the deal is, I mean, and that was just absolutely hilarious. And it was like real good times. This and the other. But the thing was, the deal is, around that time, there weren't many female vocalists that were fronting self-contained bands around in that time. The deal is like that. The deal is that you, even though whether you knew it or not, a lot of little girls and a lot of ladies now, they look up to you. And there's some that I know that are out here on this circuit that actually were kind of following in your footsteps, where they saw, oh, she can do it. I think I can do it as well. So you inspired a lot of people in the deal is, and I don't think that you realize the imprint that you made in the Rhode Island market in the music industry. And the deal is, and as humble as you are and as sweet as you are, you just don't know. And the deal is, and that's why it's such a pleasure to sit here and talk to you about that. Now, besides the Just Us era, the deal is, I mean, That went on because of the deal is like John Pagano went off to go be the lead singer with Burt Bacharach.
Yep.
Billy Osborne went on to be the musical director with Alexander O'Neal.
Yeah,
Jeffrey
man,
Liggins.
it's
Jeffrey
crazy.
Liggins went on to do, he was the tour bassist with Jeffrey Osborne.
Yep.
And the deal is with that, and then the deal is, with the Donald Campbells and
Yeah.
Timmy Fowler's with Area Code.
Yep. He's
Everybody
still
went
doing
on
that.
to
I'm so proud of him.
do some other things. But you also went on to do some other stuff after the Just Us stuff. I think the deal is, what did you do? You went on to join
Right
the group.
after Just Us, I went with Sean.
Was
Because
Sha-
people were
yeah.
telling me every time I went somewhere, they were like, "Oh my God, are you Sean Montero?" And I'm like, "No." I'm like,
But Sean's a Rhode Island legend too, and
She is.
Sean made her footprint here in Rhode Island as a jazz singer.
Exactly.
When she was singing some of the stuff like that, and Sean was gorgeous.
Yep.
Sean was sassy and
Yep.
soulful,
And we
this
look
the
alike,
other.
and that's what ended up
Yeah,
happening. People
yeah.
would always say that, and I got to the point where I was like, who is this Sean Montero? So I went to see her on Jefferson Boulevard. It was Johnson and Wales or something. Not Johnson and Wales. I forget the name of the hotel, but we go there, and I see her, and she comes right over the table as soon as she got off the stage,
So
and she was like,
"You guys had a little intellectual going on."
yeah,
right
it
off
was
the
like,
bat.
it was the craziest thing ever. And she was like, "Are you Creole?" And I'm like, "I'm Cape Verdean." And she was like, "Oh my goodness, who's your family?" And we just hit it off really
on.
well like that. And she said she always wanted to do R&B. So she had her jazz thing going, and she did 3 sets, and then the 4th set, we did Sean and Sugar. And we went and changed our clothes into those outfits that we got labeled New England Sexiest Duo. And we were doing stuff like from Vanity 6 and whatnot.
I wasn't mad at
Oh,
that.
right.
As a guy sitting there watching that and listening to it, I was saying,
That was crazy.
that was some serious eye candy sounding real good
That
like
was
that.
funny.
But you guys also had a real great band that
Oh,
were
we
behind
did.
you. The deal is, if I remember correctly, the deal is you guys had some cats in your band that went on, like Alex Bouillon.
Oh,
Alex
yeah.
Bouillon was like an extremely
He's so good.
gifted jazz pianist, and the deal is he's still out here making noise today.
Yep.
And the deal is, if I remember correctly too, you had Freddie Fox
Freddie
in that
Fox.
band. And Freddie Fox, so a lot of people don't know, Freddie Fox went on to marry Evelyn Champagne
Yep.
King and is currently her musical director. So like the deal is like
And he has
that.
a lot of great jazz albums of his own out.
Yeah, and the deal is, and I think like the drummer that was in that particular band went
Yep.
on to do some stuff with
Michael Faulkner,
yeah,
Jeff Anderson.
Yeah,
they were
because,
like crazy talented.
Yeah, so the deal is, you had a lot of stuff going on. You also joined the Body Snatchers. The deal is like
did.
that. Tell us about the Body Snatchers, because the deal is they were making a little bit of noise also around that time.
Yeah, we were. Actually, the Body Snatchers was James Herndon.
Right.
Passed away.
Yeah. Bean. Let's see.
he's
Bean
the
was
best from
Bean was
Ecstasy.
from the original drummer from Ecstasy, and God rest his soul.
I
Rest
know.
in peace. James Bean.
James,
James was a good dude.
Mac Odom.
Mac
Odom.
was Mac in the Body Snatchers?
Johnny Edwards. Oh God, I have terrible. My memory's not good. I'm 50. But yeah, that was Greg Bonds too as well.
Okay,
Rest in peace, Greg.
rest in peace, Greg Bonds.
That was a unit, and I went to Canada with them, and we lived there for 6 months together. So
Okay, yeah, I do remember
that
that.
was the
I
time.
do remember that. Yeah,
Living with them.
I do remember that.
6
The deal is like that.
months.
So the deal is with the Body Snatchers, the deal like that. But then the deal is you moved on. The deal is after that group disbanded. The deal is like that. The deal is I think you were doing something with Stephen Brown.
Yeah.
Was that when Crosstalk went?
It was Crosstalk, and we were doing
with Maggie Ford.
Yep, Margie Ford,
Yeah.
Freddie Bucco, Stephen Brown, Chip Leo, and we were always at the old Kojak was the Mad Hatter.
Kojak, yeah,
Mad Hatter.
the Airport Plaza right up there off of Airport Road
Yep,
there.
we did
I
the Mad
remember that
Hatter
spot.
a lot.
It was downstairs there. That was a real
Yeah,
nice.
we did
That was a real
Kojaks
nice
and the
club.
Mad Hatter. We've always had the Mad
Yeah.
Hatter more than anything, but that was a cool band. Murgy
Yeah.
and them guys are not Stephen, huh?
And maybe Stephen Brown, he always had the nickname Steady.
Yep.
Stephen was like,
he's
he
very
was always
steady.
popular. Yeah, steady. He was always popular, man. And his deals is still to this day. He's still one of the better drummers on the Rhode Island music
really
landscape.
is.
Murgy, I think Murgy is out there doing. And the funny thing about Murgy, we talk about this, and we get a laugh. We get a laugh
my
because
God.
you know what Murgy's band's name is, right?
Yes! Yes, I can't.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a variation of spelling. But
I deleted him from Facebook because of that.
Reggie's in a band called Just
Ricky, I'm
Us.
sorry, I really didn't do
Yeah,
that.
the deals like that. But the thing about that is the deals that me. But they actually sound good.
He can't
I've
be
seen some
taking our
footage and
name.
stuff
What's wrong
like
with
that.
him? Let's go and get him for this one.
That's some funny stuff. But Murphy's a real good brother, man, from the east
Yeah,
side
he
of
is.
Providence and the deals like that. And I've seen some footage of them guys, man. They actually sound pretty good.
Yeah.
You know, as far as all of that, and Murphy's still holding it down.
Yep.
Deals like that and the deals. And then after the evolution of the crosstalk stuff, I think you took a little break.
I did a few things in between. I did some stuff with Jordan Noons in a group called Friends, and then I did Michael Davis, Chucky,
Yeah.
Cousin Chuck, and John Vaughan with New Vibe.
New Vibe.
We did
right.
that for a couple years,
Right,
but then
right.
we were actually going to move to South County, and we had a house and everything, but then everything fell through, and that's what ended up ending New Vibe, because I was like, I can't be coming up from South County
Back
at
and
night
forth.
driving and for
Sure.
gigs and stuff. So that ended that, and then I have my daughter, so I'm
Yep.
happy being a
Yeah,
mom.
Ramsey,
and,
she's
a mess now. She's a thing. I said, you can take it over, girl.
she's a beautiful child,
She
man. The
is.
deals are
I
like
got
that.
more
And
into Lion Cat Productions.
yeah, the deal is like that. The deal is,
working
and
with
I
you
know.
guys.
Yeah, right. The deal is with with the promotional stuff and
That's
things of that
fun.
nature. And then the deal is, I get this phone call from you. A couple years ago, the deal is when you said, "Gru, the deal is, I need to do this thing. I got to do this thing it's for my heart." The deal is,
Yep.
you know that my idol was always Shaka. And we
Always.
know the deal is because the deal is when we formatted a lot of our sets.
Yep.
When we were playing together, deals like that. Shaka was your girl. So, we always performed all of that stuff. And you said, this is my dream, my lifelong dream, and my passion.
Exactly.
And so the deal is you went and recruited John Vaughan on bass as the musical director. The deal is like that. And then you got Chucky. The deal is, Chucky Norman, Chucky Gray from Brother to Brother
Yep.
as a vocalist, because Chucky is like one of the best
Yes, he is.
best male vocalists, and his harmony
Yes.
is like impeccable. Chuck taught harmony to you.
Yep,
He taught
yep.
harmony to Kevin,
Yep.
my brother Kevin, and Just Us, and he was the anchor towards a lot of that
Yep.
stuff. Then the deal is you went and got Lorna Jean Gomes,
Yep.
deals like that, and then the deal is John assembled this band of all-star musicians. The deal is, I remember Scott Torelli on
Yep,
guitar.
Scott
He's a
Torelli.
professor at Berkeley.
Yep.
Deal is like that. He went
Rusty
and
Hughes.
got Rusty Hughes from is he in Brass Attack, right?
Yes, and
yeah, there's
Rachel Ellenwood, was a friend of mine anyway from back in the day.
Rachel. We were joking back around that time. I always called her soul food.
Yep, definitely.
I always called her soul food because
Yep.
that young lady had some soul.
Definitely.
And the deal is, you
Eric
look at-
Bloom,
and Eric Bloom.
Jeremy Valdez.
Yeah, Jeremy from Chicken Slacks. Eric Bloom from Pretty Lights, and he also plays with Lettuce. The deal is
Yeah.
those are some of the top jam bands around.
That was a
around
crazy
there, this, that,
band
and the other.
group.
It was crazy. And you had Pookie Cole. Pookie Cole
Yes.
played with, he played with like Joey McIntyre and some
Right.
other people. The deal's little guy in stature, dude, but the dude had some
No kidding.
serious chops, this and the other. And that show was like absolutely phenomenal. I
was a great time.
I had the pleasure to mix that show and the deals like that. And that was this all-star cast, man, and the deals, and that was like fulfilling your lifelong
It
dream.
really was. It was
And
lightning in a bottle, definitely.
yeah, it definitely was. And the thing is, and that thing also, and I remember seeing out in the audience, I was out there picking out videos. I saw a lot of other female vocalists from around Rhode Island. They were like quietly up in there. They were like, okay, we're really gonna see what Sugar's doing. Deals over here, because the deals, they always looked up to you, and the deals, it was like, there was like people in the audience, man, from like 8 to 80 in the deals like that, and they were all looking at it, and
cool.
the deals, and you packed the Scottish Rite Theater, man, the deals, and the deals with that, and the deals, and the energy that was in that place was
Yeah.
absolutely something special.
It
The deal is,
was.
and the deal is, and the deal is, and what we're gonna do is that we're gonna cut to this thing, and we're gonna highlight and let everybody in Rhode Island know how sweet it was.
Get back in the groove, yeah. I love the way you do it, we do it. I like the way you move, yeah. Come on and groove, come on and groove, come on and groove, come on and groove, come on and Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Anything you want, baby,